Hmm. Hello, hello, ladies. Welcome. Here we go. Hi, Rehan. Hi, Dina. Hi, Angie. Hi, Reda. Hi, Maria.
Hello.
How's
Hi,
everybody
Donna.
doing today? Good? All good?
Hi, hi.
Good.
Hi,
Oh,
Donna.
hello. All right, ladies. It's a Q&A day. Who wants to kick it off with a question? Question, concern, a share, a win, anything. About anything that we've covered so far. Tuesday is all about Ramadan. So if you have Ramadan questions, hold off. Tuesday, the whole session, I will explain fasting, how fasting works, the best way to fast, what you're going to do in terms of your food for Ramadan. Yes, what you're going to do when you have a dessert, of course. So all of those questions, hold off on Ramadan questions for Tuesday, please. Anything else? Go ahead. Also, those of you who don't observe Ramadan, I have had in the past some ladies who, because now is also fasting time for Orthodox Christians, and apparently they also have a, if this is applies to you, obviously, some ladies do also sort of like a fast where they fast until 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock p.m., also no food, and then they break their fast, but they break it obviously a vegan fast. So if this applies to you, then the Ramadan session is important for you as well, because the same basic concepts apply to just not eating, whatever you want to, for whatever reason, when you have to go for long periods of time. So if you are going to be doing that fast, also, please plan on attending the session on Tuesday. Riham, what happens if we're a bit bored? Fruits and veggies. That happens 100%, just like anything else. What do you feel like having, Riham? That's what I always feel like when you're bored. So we know what you don't want. What is it you do want? This is, by the way, you're getting into mindful eating. You're listening, you're understanding, you're identifying, and then sandwich. Okay, here's the thing. Go ahead and have it. Remember, this is not about never, ever having those foods again, never having the inflammatory foods again. The Reham, especially ladies, started this journey before everybody here. So she's literally, how long have you been on this, Reham? Fourth month now? Fifth? How many months? Like she started before January 12th. So you want to go and have a sandwich, or you feel like you remember I said at the beginning, it's not a matter of if you feel like having these foods again, it's only a question of when. So you will, all of you, it's natural because of the way we've all been brought up. We have some kind of connection to these foods, even if a part of us knows and understands now that they're not optimally healthy. But Reham, yeah, this is her fourth month. So fourth month, nothing, no, you've been like, she's been amazingly like on it, right, Reham? So when you have whether an emotional connection or it's just a food you ate so often that you actually love, you are going to want to eat it. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We are not creating sort of teams with food, like this is the good food, this is the bad food. There's no such thing as good or bad food. There is food that is optimally healthy, and when you eat it, you feel great. And there's food that you eat it not necessarily for the health benefits, but sometimes there's a mental aspect to it, right? You miss something, or you're at a family event, or there's a special event, and there's certain foods maybe that, like Ramadan is coming up, right? There's certain foods that we connect with tradition and with family gatherings and with memory. So there's nothing wrong with wanting to have these foods. So if you want the sandwiches, Rehem and Dina and Inji, everybody wants a sandwich. Start by letting go of any guilt you might have around this. Like, oh, this is not part of the program. I know now what bread can do, whatever you're going to put inside the sandwich mixed with the bread. Let go of that. All right. And give yourself 100% permission to go and make a conscious decision. This is very important. You're making a conscious decision. You're not overpowered by the sandwich. You're not overpowered by social pressure. You're going to choose. This is what I want, this kind of sandwich. I'm going to have it on this day, and I'm going to enjoy it, because when you consume something that is not optimally healthy, the way that you process it as you consume it, like if you consume it with guilt or fear, it actually is worse for your body than if you just consume it with pleasure and guilt-free and move on. So you get to do that. You are the one in control of your body. You understand now how your body works. We know that one sandwich is not going to derail you. One sandwich is not going to make you unhealthy, in exactly the same way that one salad doesn't make you healthy either. It's about what you do over and over and over a long period of time that gives you the results that you want. So go ahead and have it. Keep track of how it makes you feel physically, emotionally, in the moment that you're eating it, and then up to 3 days after you eat it. Because remember, lots of food can have an impact, but it can show up anywhere from 10 minutes to 3 days after you eat it. So just keep track of it. You're just collecting data. You're just seeing how fast maybe or how slow your body's going to process the bread, and if it's going to trigger a reaction or not. That's it. All right. Inji, is Beledi bread better or sourdough? The same. Choose the one that you prefer the taste. Any bread, whether it's Beledi. Okay, so Beledi and sourdough, the advantage over, let's say, for example, white bread or white toast or fino bread or things like that, is that they do have fewer ingredients. So instead of, if you find sort of like in Egypt, like rich bake or the really processed breads, for example, have a lot of additives. They have more ingredients than a bread recipe needs to have. Beledi bread and sourdough stick to the basics. It's like the flour, the water, the yeast, done. So in terms of added, like which one has the least potentially negative effects, would be Beledi or sourdough. Yes. But between the two, there's no difference. Anybody else, ladies? Reminder to, I'm going to say this every single time we have a session. Reminder to go back, watch the older sessions. I'm noticing some of you are doing that. Some of you are going back and looking at the older posts, which is great. You're starting to go back, ask questions about older posts. Obviously, you're saving some things. Do the same thing with the older classes. Go back and watch them. And if there's any questions about anything, come in and ask me. Next week is a rescheduled Tuesday's class next week because I'm traveling next week to Tokyo. So Tuesday's class will be on Wednesday. And then for the rest of Ramadan, obviously I'm going to be on a different time zone. We will have the classes at I think it's 12 p.m. Cairo, because I have 2 classes I'm giving. I think yours is 12 p.m. I've switched them all in the events. So please go check the events for the upcoming classes starting. So Tuesday's class is the same. Sunday's class is the same. Next week, Tuesday's class is on a Wednesday, and I've done all this under events, and it's going to be at 12 p.m. It actually, I think, works out better in all cases. I mean, it's just coincidental that I'm going to be in Tokyo and had to do this, but we wouldn't have been able to have a 7 p.m. class anyway because of Ramadan. So make sure you're just always checking that schedule. So that switches next week. Chicken liver. So chicken liver, here's the thing. Chicken liver, the liver of a chicken, the liver of any animal, is just like your liver. It works to filter everything the chicken is eating, or the animal whose liver you want to eat, which means it can be an overloaded liver full of toxins, depending on what this chicken is being fed, depending on what this chicken is being injected with. So if you want to eat the liver of any animal, you do need to make absolutely sure that it's as organic and hormone-free as possible, because if it's not, then all of that is concentrated in the liver that you are going to eat. Seaweed, yes, seaweed is allowed. Just make sure that it doesn't have added oils. Sometimes, I don't know why, like sometimes there's the seaweed, like I don't know if you can find these here or where, but I remember when I was in Toronto, they had like seaweed, sort of like chips, which were really great, but they made them with seed oils. So you have to make sure that there's no added ingredients. But as a plain ingredient, yes, seaweed is really good for you. Riham, I have the juicing day this Friday. If I decide to do soup instead of juice, do I still keep the morning berry smoothie? Yes. Hi, Amuna. I've had a constant headache for the past 8 days, even though I'm following the clean eating nearly to a T. I'm also always hungry and have so many cravings and no energy. So I'm getting a bit demotivated because I don't know what's going wrong. So when you say clean eating, Amuna, are you doing animal protein? Are you doing lentils, beans, any legumes, any nuts, and any fats? Let me know. Reda, if I eat for 1 week and now I start 9-day detox, is it okay? If you eat what for 1 week, Reda? Like clean eating or what? Hella. So it's like eggs. Eggs have the added potential problem that they can feed viruses. Liver doesn't do that, but can be full of toxins. Eggs are not necessarily full of toxins, but they are full of hormone, the natural hormones of the chicken. They might not be toxic. If even if it's an organic chicken and she's not being fed anything that a chicken shouldn't eat, and she's not being given hormones, her organic eggs can still be problematic for humans because they contain her natural hormones. And if your own hormones have reached a tipping point, then it might make balancing your own hormones challenging. And in all cases, eggs can feed viruses. So there's an added challenge there. Liver will have stored. So let's say this chicken, I mean, she's a female chicken, right? Let's say she has an estrogen dominance issue, and she's a chicken. So if her liver, like your liver, is unable to filter her estrogen and it gets clogged in her liver, that's when you see the hormones in her liver. If she's a scared, freaked out chicken, you might find her cortisol and her adrenaline in the liver. If she's eating like most chickens, she's eating garbage. She's in a industrial farm and they're just giving them anything to plump them up really quickly. She's being fed literally everything under the sun. All of that's going to end up in the liver. So that doesn't exactly happen with eggs. Eggs are not going to store toxins from food, toxins from the environment, things like that. Yes, animal protein and legumes and nuts. Okay, so all of these in general, so all of these fall under, they're more inflammatory, Amuna, and they're more on the acidic side. So if you consume them on a regular basis, and if you're consuming animal protein plus legumes and nuts daily, okay, that can trigger the headaches. And because it takes a lot of energy for the body to break down animal protein, that leaves you with less energy to function. So I would say keep the animal protein to start, like of those two, animal protein, legumes, and nuts. I would say remove the legumes, remove the nuts, and keep the animal protein. And in terms of hunger, this also could be, I mean, the past 8 days, we have to factor in the weather, ladies. Cold weather will make us more hungry because our body needs more energy to warm us up. So the hunger might not necessarily be a food issue. It's because of a weather issue. It could also be, Amuna, I need you to track and see, are you anywhere 15 days out before your period? So are you mid-cycle where you might be ovulating, because the cravings and the hunger that comes with PMS, it doesn't just hit a few days before your period. It can go all the way as far back as when your ovulation starts, which could be mid-cycle. So you could spend 2 weeks feeling a little bit more hungry than usual. So I would remove those. Hunger also comes when we don't have enough fuel for our cells, and the fuel comes in the form of sugar. So anytime you decrease natural sugar, literally the gasoline for your cells, you will feel hungry. So I would remove legumes and nuts because they're not as nutrient dense as fruits and vegetables. They don't provide the glucose, like fruits especially, to power up your cells. Plus, they require more energy to break down. Plus, especially legumes and nuts contain phytic acid, which is an anti-nutrient. So it could be getting in the way of all the other nutrients you're eating from your other foods, which as a sort of compounded effect means you are at some level nutrient deficient. So there's a few moving pieces here to this, but I would start with getting rid of the legumes and the nuts and adding in a lot of fruits. Reda, the normal foods. Okay, so if you when you say normal food, Reda, we want to think of first, always, you want to, pinpoint why. Was it emotional eating? Was it you weren't prepared? Was it you had a lot of outings? You always want to go back and sort of debrief why this happened to you so that you can start getting into the habit of being mindful about it. And then you just move on. So yes, definitely when and if that happens, go on and do the 9-day detox afterwards. Angie, currently there's a lot of bird flu viruses. Does this affect the egg? I have no idea, Angie. We're avoiding the egg anyway. But
No, I know. It's just because you were talking about the egg, so I was
yeah.
just highlighting that it might be even worse when there is actually viruses there.
Oh,
So
when the actual chicken is actually sick. Yes, that definitely. That I don't have like 100% answer to that, but just logically that makes sense. Yes. Reham, does the detox unclog the lymphatic system, or does that only happen with lymphatic drainage? No, it can only happen first and foremost with how you're eating. Your lymphatic system, your lymphatic system and your circulatory system. So your blood is your circulatory system and your lymphatic system, liquids. These are the two biggest sets of liquids in your body. And the only way that you alkalize the blood and you optimize the drainage in your lymphatic system is using foods. Your lymphatic system gets clogged or slows down, not because you're not doing a lymphatic drainage, but because your lymphatic system is this like, it's a web all over your body, right? You have lymph nodes in the system here and here and here, under your arms, into your breasts, all the way down into your pelvic area, shooting out down over your legs, in your back, okay? This is your body's garbage disposal system. And when it's overloaded or when it gets clogged is when you feel like lumps, right? Sometimes you feel like a lump here or a lump here. That's nothing more than the system. It's a sewage system. And imagine the pipes got clogged. So lymphatic drainage, it can help, but the root cause is because the inflammatory foods clog. So we have to remove them in order to remove the pressure on the system, so it's not consistently trying to remove toxins. And then lymphatic drainage, this is a sort of a complementary thing. It's not going to solve it on its own. It'll solve it in the moment. So let's say you go and get a lymphatic drainage massage, like in the moment, in the hour after, your lymphatic system might be functioning more optimally, but long term, that doesn't fix it. You need to fix the root cause, which is like what clogged your sink to start with, right? Think of your body as a sink and the drain is your lymphatic system. What clogged the sink? The other thing that really is very important for the lymphatic system is movement. So it doesn't just move on its own. It needs the momentum of the body to move and function optimally. So walking is great. It's the easiest way to move your lymphatic system. Any kind of cardio exercise. So walking, I said walking. What's the other one? That's really good. Jumping on a mini trampoline is really great. Any kind of dance cardio, all of this is great for moving the lymphatic system. Amuna, okay, thank you. You're welcome. Keep me posted, please. Reda, I was traveling, I can't find my food. Perfect. So this is really important. When that happens, you're traveling, it's not easy, it's not practical, logistically, it's a nightmare. Maybe you're just traveling and you don't want to think about it, you want to enjoy yourself. You do that, you enjoy it, come back, you just get right back into your routine and your track. Hella, what do you think of lymphatic drainage massage? Is it okay? Yeah, it's okay, definitely. Do it. It feels great. It's good for you, but just don't depend on it as the solution. Okay, it's not the solution. It's like supplements. It's not going to work unless you have the right foundation. Maria, then I noticed some regression in my symptoms, especially the small pimples on my forehead. They came back again after they were almost gone. Could this be from the Brufen I'm taking twice a day because of the tooth? Potentially, or I'm gonna probably say it's more of that when the skin is cleansing, it's cyclical. So and it's purging. So you might have a purge, and then it calms down, it goes away, and then the body's cleaning. The body cleans in layers. So it cleans one layer, then it goes a little bit deeper, cleans another layer. So especially with skin cleansing, and if anybody has skin issues, give yourself a good 6 to 8 months for your skin to purge cyclically. Or it might just do where it gets reaches a peak of purging, pimples, rashes, you name it, and then it goes down. So be very patient with that. It could definitely be, yes, because you took the medication, but typically what I see with skin is that it is a cyclical process. You're welcome. Anybody else, ladies? Any questions at all? All right. So Tuesday is all about Ramadan and fasting in general. So even if you don't observe Ramadan as a Ramadan, obviously, but you do any kind of fasting, come in because the information is relevant to any type of fasting. Bring all of your questions for that on Tuesday. Please remember to check the events in the group because I have changed the times and there's one class so far that I have rescheduled. And just as a general sort of reminder, but I'll also give you heads up if I do. Once I'm there, potentially I might have to reschedule other classes. I hope that I don't, but in the event that I do, please make sure you're always checking the events. All right, ladies, have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, and I'll see you on Tuesday, inshallah. Good night.